I miss home. I miss home as a collective. I miss home. Like I miss everything about home. Y'all know the pay coming in with an agency, the pay is not the greatest, right? The pay is not the greatest. So you need to try to keep your expenses as minimal as possible. I love the fact that there is always room for upward mobility. Hey babes, welcome back to my channel. To those of you who are new here, I'm Ashil and I'm back with another video. So on this channel, we speak everything nursing, beauty, fashion, and life. And today I want to zone in a little on the nursing aspect, which I feel like I have been neglecting a little. My goal for this year is to at least put out one video a week, whether it's nursing, beauty, fashion, anything of the sort. I do want to commit to posting weekly. It's a new year. Happy New Year, by the way. Wishing you guys all the best for this year. I personally am looking forward to an amazing 2025, and I wish that for you as well. I did have a great 2024, but like I said, I'm looking forward to an even better 2025. So with that said, I have been getting some messages from persons who are either in the process of moving to the US as nurses and or thinking about the process and trying to navigate and see what way they should go, whether it's with an agency, staffing agency, or whether they should do it on their own or the direct hire, whatever it is. So I have been getting messages. I got quite a few messages during the year, and I just wanted to start off this year because I really felt like I started my channel with like trying to get you as much information as you possibly could have in terms of the migration process, but life has been lifing. A lot has happened since I've moved, so I just wanted to kind of have this answer some of your questions, but also serve like a dual purpose where I tell you what my experience has been like over the past 2.5 years ish since I've been here. So let us jump into the video. So I have my notes here as per usual. I have my notes on my phone just so I don't forget anything. But my first initial impression versus reality. So what I thought I was getting into versus what actually happened. So I feel like my biggest surprise was not being adequately prepared for not having a credit score. I knew of credit scores before moving here, but I didn't know the impact or how great it kind of like weighed on everything. Cars, rent, like any and everything, your credit score had a major impact on there. So us coming in with no credit score, it kind of put a little damper initially in terms of one, getting a vehicle, because with those of you coming in with an agency, you would know that you are actually offered a vehicle in terms of through the agency for like purchase. And I personally chose not to go this route just because one, the vehicles are expensive. The vehicles are very expensive, and this is one of the questions that I got in terms of like navigating, should I take the brand new vehicle that is being offered to me with that very high interest rate, or should I go my route, which is to get a second-hand vehicle from one of the local dealerships. And like I said, this is what I did, and it was easier for me to do just because, again, I had support from my friend. So I was able to use her vehicle during the time where we were shopping around and looking for vehicles and test driving and all of the stuff. We were able to use our friend's vehicle. So if you do have family members or friends who are able to allow you to, if not use their vehicles, take you around during the time that you will not be mobile, then I would definitely advise you to get with a local car dealership and get a second-hand vehicle, at least for your first vehicle, just so that your interest rates are not sky high and through the roof. Oh my God. Through the roof. Because y'all know the pay coming in with an agency, the pay is not the greatest, right? The pay is not the greatest. So you need to try to keep your expenses as minimal as possible. And that is one way I feel like, compared to what we were quoted to pay monthly for just not even insurance, for the for the vehicle, car note, whatever it is, it was like almost $1,000, like $870 something dollars. And no, our car loans combined, myself and my husband, is less than what we would have been paying if we had taken this brand new vehicle. So I'm happy. That is one thing that I'm happy I did my research on and got good counsel in terms of choosing whether to go with their vehicle as opposed to getting a second hand. Secondly, oh, let me go back on the credit score. So with the credit score, we needed a credit score to get a place to stay. We needed most of the places we were looking into renting and trying to get into initially needed a credit score. And if you did not have a credit score, they needed you to be making at least 3 times the rent. And y'all, the rent not cheap. The rent is not cheap. The rent is like anywhere over $1,500. So imagine having 3 times coming in with your currency that does not match the US currency, and having to provide 3 times the rent. There were some facilities that took you without the credit score, but like I said, you would have to pay like maybe double and triple times the rent just so you would be able to even be considered. So that was something that was a shocker, because coming from the Caribbean, all you need is your security deposit and your first month's rent. That's all. And you're good to go. But nobody needs to be checking how much you're going to be making, if you're going to be making 3 times the rent and all of these things. No. So that was a big surprise for me. Honestly, that was a major surprise. And just building my credit score, which honestly, I feel like I did amazing for somebody who just came. But again, seeking counsel, getting persons who are knowledgeable about credit scores, taxes, and all of these things was it was a game changer for me, being able to maintain and really increase my credit score and keeping it up there. So that was a good thing. Secondly, pretty much just the difference in like culture, people, lifestyle, like it's different. And of course I expected that. We're coming from a third world country into a first world country, and me not being new to the US, I mean, I was traveling not frequently, but I would probably come up once to the US once every 2 years or so. So I was knowledgeable enough to know that it wasn't the same. The cultures were different, the people were different, so just basic things such as walking into an establishment and saying good day, greeting, that is not a thing here. And I had to find out the hard way, because y'all know our parents coming from the Caribbean. You better have some manners. You're not going to walk into anybody's house. You're not going to walk into any establishment, any place where there is a gathering of persons, and expect to just walk in and not greet people. That is a no in our culture. So just kind of saying good morning or good afternoon and not being answered, to the point where like, hello, wait, y'all didn't hear me? Like I greeted you. What's going on? So that was kind of like, because I have manners, y'all. I would like to think that I have manners. So just not even getting a greeting in return, or people not really making eye contact, or that was a little it took a little while getting used to. It took a little while. Initially I used to get a little offended and like wait, what? But then it took a little while getting used to, because again, that is not our culture. We're coming from a community of persons who are very tight knit, very close knit, and coming into a culture where it's fast paced. It's a much faster pace. Persons are going about their day much quicker than you'd find people would have time to stop and say, hey, how's your day, in coming from St. Lucia. People have time to stop and chat. Here, everything is going. There is no time to stop and do anything. So that was really a shocker for me. I'm honestly not even joking. That was really a shocker for me. One of the bigger one of the things that I did not prepare for, that took me by surprise. I mean, obviously I should have prepared for it, but I was not at all prepared for it, was how often I would have to buy clothes for Jace. How often? Because the thing is, in St. Lucia, we supposed to have the rainy season and the dry season, but y'all know it's usually the same temperature until probably like December, where it gets a little cooler, but nothing that a hoodie cannot fix. Nothing a little sweater or a little cardigan can't fix. But hey, y'all, the difference in temperature and the difference in the seasons, the children they outgrow their clothes already so quickly. And two, you have to end up buying more clothes, because whereas you would just buy one set of clothes that would last them for the entire year, maybe even a year and a half, depends on how quickly the child is putting on weight and stuff, in the first world countries and in the countries where you're experiencing just one kind of like temperature throughout the year. Here, you have drastic temperature adjustments. So you're going from summer to winter, and obviously these children outgrow clothes so quickly. So we're buying clothes for obviously summer, and we're buying clothes for winter. But the same clothes we buy for summer and winter, these clothes are not fitting the next year. So every year we're religiously changing our clothes and buying clothes, and I'm like, what is this? Why? Why are you not at that age where your clothes just fit and it just fits? So that was like an adjustment, because I was not ready. I mean, I am an adult. I have clothes from the winter that I first moved here. My clothes still fit. I still have clothes from then. But a child who outgrows these clothes so quickly, you have to be continuously buying clothes, like for the seasons and then for their growth as well. I was not ready. I was not at all ready. So take into consideration, those of you who have kids or are going to be coming up with kids, that is something to prepare for. So the biggest challenges I faced, right? For me, honestly, it was like trying to get a hold of that tax system, like how to file taxes. Like it was just something very new, something that I was not used to. Even in St. Lucia, I mean, I didn't really file my taxes. I feel like I filed taxes once home, y'all. Don't quote me. But coming here where tax is such a big thing, and making sure you do your taxes properly, because you don't want to owe the government, and you don't want to, find yourself in a position where you're owing a bigger sum than you anticipated because you did not file properly and all of that. So just trying to wrap my head around the things that I could have filed, the way I could have filed, what I couldn't, like, that was a little bit of an adjustment, and it was one of the challenges that I did face coming here. So there's that. But obviously I did get somebody to file my taxes who I am comfortable with, and she broke down like everything. She would call me like while I was selecting the stuff for my job, at my job, for my taxes. She would call me and let me know that this is what you're supposed to pick. Don't pick this, pick this. So she was very instrumental in me being more comfortable now with my taxes. But initially it was like oh my god, a struggle. Secondly, I'm trying to make this video as short as possible, so I'm just really rushing through stuff. But finding a church. Now, I have grown up Catholic my entire life. I've been Catholic. Born and raised Catholic. But I don't know if any of you are familiar with how church happens, especially the Catholic Church happens up here. It's a totally different environment. Now, I am young. I like the music, the upbeat music. Like going to church used to be a vibe. You're going to church used to be a vibe, so you have the music, you have the drums, you have, you have your favorite songs, and you know what song is coming up next. From time you had a, you know what song. Like, I love church because I love music, so I love church because of that, and just the environment, the community. That's the time where you get to see persons you haven't seen for like a whole week. The week has gone by, you haven't seen these persons. It's time to reconnect with your persons you don't usually see, and people you don't usually come into contact with on a regular basis outside of church. That's your time to reconnect. But here it was like, now I kind of knew it because I have been to church here before I moved up here, but I thought that maybe it was just where I went to church, because before I have family in Connecticut, so that's why I used to go. So I'm probably like, maybe because the culture is a little different there. Probably, Atlanta is a melting pot. We may get like, you all know, the church was not churching. And for me, I feel like, especially for a son with a young child who is growing up, and you're trying to teach them about God and teach them the way to go and how to live a spiritual life and stuff, I feel like, I don't know. I don't. It was just a major change, a drastic change for me, because there was like, you just going to church, you don't know anybody, everybody's on their own business, same culture, everybody's on their own business, unless, like, you're there for a while and then people start seeing you and get comfortable with you. But it was just different. Like, it's just so mellow, so dry, so monotonous. And that's not what I was used to. That is not what I am used to. So I honestly did not attend church for like a year plus. I just did not go. I would do my masses on, like, virtually in St. Lucia. I would watch my masses religiously. If I was at work, I would like just back play or whatever. But I just resorted to that because I'm like, one, Jace is very active. Jace is a very active, very, like, not focused child. So it takes a lot for him to sit still and just be attentive. Now, at the church, it's already so not captivating because of the monotony of everything and just the chill vibes of everything, that he gets bored, and rightfully so. So it's not engaging and all of that. And that was my biggest like issue with hair. So as far as my church life, I'm not sure what it means for me and the Catholic Church up here. I don't know what it means, but I have been like attending different, like, non-denominational churches, and it's like totally different. There are like Bible study groups for the children. So you drop off your child and then you go to mass, and then after that you pick up, and it's literally like a school. Like, it's literally in grades. So you have grade 1, grade 2, grade 3, grade 4, and the children go to the classes based on what level they're in at the time. And then they do hands-on activities with the children. They even give them homework, so they give them Bible passages to read, which is more of what I want. But honestly, it's a very conflicting topic for me right now, because like I said, have been born and raised Catholic, and I do like my Catholic faith. I love my Catholic faith, but it's just that in this moment, spiritually, especially where I want to see myself spiritually and where I want to go spiritually, I don't think that it's cutting it for me. But we shall see how that goes. But that is one of the major challenges that I faced coming here. Yes. And just making friends, pretty much. Like, I am not, I mean, people love me. People love me, but I don't consider myself a people's person. So it's crazy. I don't know why you like me. I don't know how you like me. But I don't consider myself a people's person. Like, I have my friend Sherry, who if y'all saw my last video, Sherry will go into a room and people will just gravitate because she's lively. She's like, but for me, I will get people to gravitate towards me, but it's after they get to know me. Like after they get to y'all see how chill and cool I am, y'all say, okay, I like her to be a friend. But initially, it's very hard for me to make friends. It's very hard for me to allow people in my space. So that's why I feel like my friendships that I do have are so long lived, because when I'm your friend, I'm your friend. When we're friends, we're friends. So it's hard to get like me to be in a space where I have to make new friends and all of that. So honestly, that has been one of the challenges. I mean, I do have people from St. Lucia that were my friends before, that we were still friends. But again, because of me moving so far away, well, not so far, but I'm not as close to Atlanta as I was before. I'm not seeing these persons as much as I used to when I was living closer to the city. So it's now I am trying to find my my niche, my circle, and all of the things. So it has not been easy just because of my personality. It may be different for you, it may be different for other persons, but just for me as an individual who is not like really like approachable people's person, and y'all, my face, y'all, I have a RBF. I have an RBF that no matter how much I try to tame it, it has its own life. So people may not be as as motivated to approach me just because of my eyebrows, the way they like just, especially when I'm in deep concentration, they have a life of their own. So there's that, but it may be totally different for you based on your personality. Next, cultural differences. So it kind of ties into what I spoke of, but not really. So one, work-life balance. It's not really a cultural difference. However, it is kind of, because in St. Lucia, where I'm from, for those of you who don't know, if I haven't said that, work-life balance, I mean, it was a thing, but not really, if you get what I'm saying. Okay, so here, from a little more perspective, we have self-scheduling. So we are the ones scheduling ourselves to work according to how we want to work. So that makes it so much easier to ensure work-life balance. And I'll give you an example. So for me, the way I schedule myself monthly, I always give myself 7 days off straight. So the way I do that is I work the beginning of one week. So your week starts on Sunday. So I will work a Sunday, Monday, Tuesday shift, and I would work the following week a Thursday, Friday, Saturday shift. So between Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I would have 7 days off until Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So both my weeks are covered. I didn't take any time off like PTO or anything. My weeks are covered. I've worked my 3 shifts for week 1 and I've worked my 3 shifts for week 2, but they're just very spaced out. So it gives me a time to reboot and reset and just, we need that time to just recollect and just take in the week as a whole. So I do this every month. Last month, because of the holidays and change in schedule and all of these things, I was not able to do so. But usually, at least 8 months, I allow myself to have this time off. So this was not, I'm not sure how it is now, but this was not the norm in St. Lucia. You are scheduled by your ward manager or whoever at the time is responsible for scheduling. So however you're put to work, sometimes you get like, you obviously work 12-hour shifts, so you would be working 4 shifts a week, or 3 shifts a week, sorry, sometimes 4, depends on just the way it was in St. Lucia. You would have to be working, like, there is a week where you would have to work 4 shifts that week, so it would account for your 40-hour week as opposed to the 36 hours. So you would be scheduled by your manager, and whatever way you were scheduled, that's how you'd have to work. So sometimes you'd have 1 day off between shifts, sometimes you'd have 2 days off between shifts. The only time I think the most I've ever had, I feel like, was 3 days off and then back. So that self-scheduling nature or culture kind of cultivates that self-care and mental health promotion that we so desperately need, especially in the profession that we've chosen. So that was a very like a plus. And secondly, in the cultural differences, so there is a thing called imposter syndrome, and it's real. Imposter syndrome pretty much is like you feeling like you're in a space that you feel you're not supposed to be in. And it's not because you're not qualified to be in it, it's not because you're not supposed to be in it. It's just because sometimes it's just you. It's just because you feel that you should not be there. Like you don't really fit. And that has been a major issue for me moving here, just because like especially where I'm at now, where we live now is predominantly a white area. Is that a culturally appropriate term? White. But predominantly Caucasian persons live where I currently stay. So even at work, you find maybe 2 out of 10 people are African American or black. So that's one. The color of my skin is already something that maybe makes me feel like, okay, do I really belong here? And two, I'm not an American. I'm not an American. I'm an immigrant. So it's like two strikes. And again, I recently saw a video saying that there's nothing that should be labeled as imposter syndrome. Is imposter environment or something of the sort. I don't remember the exact term they were saying, but what it was saying is that you should not feel like an imposter. It's probably the way the people around you make you feel. And I would be lying if I say that my coworkers or anybody makes me feel that I do not belong, because that is not true. They have been amazing from day one, very welcoming, very accommodating. I have no issues with them. It's just an internal thing that I have been trying to get over, and I feel like I have been making some progress, to be honest. But it's just an internal thing that I have been trying to get over. The fact that I are you supposed to be here? You know, do you fit in here? And just some insecurities based on things that probably you're not exposed to working home, that like just maybe some clinical skills that probably you were not exposed to. So for example, in St. Lucia, the doctors did the IV insertions. Doctors were the only ones covered. Well, at least at OKU, which is the hospital I worked at, doctors were the only ones covered to do IV insertions. Up here, the nurses do the IV insertions. So imagine me being a nurse for 4 years in the NICU, not having that skill, not being able to practice that skill. Obviously, I was not at my most confident. And I let them know. I mean, I didn't lie. I told them, you know, that's what it was. So guide me, be patient, but I might blow some veins a couple times, but this is what it is. And like I said, they have never made me feel like, you know, you stupid, what you doing. No, very accommodating, very understanding. But within myself, I felt like, you know, you're supposed to know how to do that. You know, you're supposed to know how to do that. That's a skill you should know. And you know, you don't even master it and stuff like that. So that's just an example of how your thoughts can kind of get into you. So yeah, so that's one of the things that I had to deal with culturally and individually for myself, that I am working on, and I have been making some progress, but it was kind of like a shock because, you know, you're used to everything at home. Everybody's the same color, everybody's a vibe, like everything is nice. But then here it takes a little while adjusting. But like I said, it's a work in progress. So yeah. What do you love about the US? So let's start job wise, because obviously we're talking work. I love the fact that there is always room for upward mobility. So here, since I've been here, even my husband has seen it in he's been in that same banking area. He's been banking for his whole like career, like his whole work life has been in banking, and it was very hard living in St. Lucia to get a promotion. Living home, it was very hard to get a promotion. It was very hard to be recognized for like basic stuff. And here, he's been climbing the ladder like So that in itself is it was just like a game changer. It was a game changer. So I really love that about hair, and even just the way that there is so much opportunity for nurses in St. Lucia. Is like either bedside nursing or community nursing, or our nursing pool was kind of limited. But here there is so much variety, there is so much that you can do as a nurse. There are so many paths. Like right now, it's I am trying to decide what it is I want to do with like career wise, and I am lost. Like I'm stuck because I really don't like want to choose something I don't like, but at the same time there is so much to choose from. The pool is so wide. So I love the opportunity for upward mobility and just the actual opportunities that you get up here. I love that. Another thing that I do like about here is the availability of travel. Like, in St. Lucia, in the Caribbean, in like the third world countries, it is a little harder to travel just because of how expensive it is. Expensive tickets are expensive, and when you get there, the conversion is like way off because you're probably getting $2.75 EC, Eastern Caribbean dollars, for $1 US, which is a little bit of a conversion. But here, you're getting tickets. I literally had my cousin come across for my birthday, and he bought his ticket for $27. Imagine getting a plane ticket for $27 to go to another state. So these are things that you would not have gotten no matter where you live. To come like across a different state, you would not get a ticket for $27 at all. So just like these things, and it opens up a world of possibilities because you're able to experience different cultures. Even if we're in the US, different states have different ways of doing stuff. So just here, look at here in Atlanta, it doesn't snow, or even if it does, it's probably just some flurries. I have not seen like real snow, but go same time of year, go across to New York, snow, go across to like the north of the northern states, you're getting snow. So even then, the experiences just being in one state and going to another state is so different. So there's that. I actually really love that about being here. And also just being in a state where I get direct travel to majority of the places. So I don't have to take a connecting flight to St. Lucia. From Atlanta, you go straight to St. Lucia, 4.5 hour flight. Boom, bam, you're home. So I absolutely love that for sure. Things that I miss about my home country. I miss home. I miss home as a collective. I miss home. Like I miss everything about home. But being home during the summer of last year just put things into perspective as to why it is I moved. Because in as much as I miss home, like I said, the opportunities up here are limitless, and it just shows you how kind of stagnant, or how, like, I don't want to bad talk my country because I love it, like I said, but you have to be real sometimes. And it just highlighted how like it's just stagnant, just at a standstill that my career was, because of my geographic location. And just being here showed me that there is better out there, but at the same time, I want to give back to my home country. I want to give back to my home country because I know, especially now, we are in a crisis in terms of the healthcare system. So it had me thinking, like, how could I give back? What can I do, etc. But I really miss the community of being home, like persons checking on you, persons, you always see a familiar face. My friend used to tell me she hate walking in town with me because every 2 steps I have to stop and talk to somebody, because it's so small, it's so tight knit that wherever you go, you must see somebody you must see a familiar face. So just being in that space where you have that community, that that togetherness, I miss that so much. I really do miss that. I miss the food, y'all. I was so happy that before my trip home, I lost some weight, because tell me why. I went home and I put on mizzy weight. I put on like 10 pounds in what, 2 weeks I went home for, because I was just overdoing it, y'all. The food, if you've ever been to St. Lucia, if you're not from home, go for the food. Go for the food. I mean, we have amazing people, we have amazing views and stuff and everything, but the food, it really made me miss home. And Atlanta is known for having a melting pot of different cultures, so the food is not like bland or anything like, but home food hits different. Home food hits different. I miss the beach. I miss the beach. I miss being able to just go pick up and say, okay, I'm going to the beach today, and just go drive to the beach. In less than half an hour, you're at the beach. I miss that. Here, definitely not. You're not going to see any beach anywhere close by with for miles. Okay, so I miss that. I miss work. I miss the work environment. Like, just how, again, with me being my having my imposter syndrome and my personality, where I don't really gravitate towards people unless like I'm really comfortable with you, just having that kind of community at work, in work, like, you know, your friends, that your co-workers will become friends that you chill and call and talk to and whatever. I miss that, because I don't have that at work currently, and I really do miss that. But these are some of the things, like I said, I don't want to make this video too long, but these are some of the things that I really miss about home. Also, I do have some advice for persons. I feel like I should leave that for last. But let's see. Okay, so I have here to reflect on what the American dream means and whether it's a myth or reality. Y'all, honestly, there's no American dream. Sorry to burst your bubble, because I did look so forward to the American dream. Like I said, there is so much opportunity for growth and so much opportunity to put yourself out there and do things that you wanted to do that you could not have done at home. There is that, don't get me wrong. But in terms of the American dream, where it's just like, you know, you're just living so effortlessly and just things are just falling in place. No, I'm sorry to burst your bubble. No, that's not what it is. I obviously had to find out the hard way because I had to move here, but it's just different. It's just different. Here, everything comes at a cost. Every single thing comes at a cost. So whereas you probably would be able to cut on childcare, so you already pay for rent and stuff, but you'd be able to cut on childcare. And true story, because I personally never paid for childcare until Jace was about 2 years. My family was my childcare, because I had, again, that community where I could have dropped my son at any time of day or night. Sometimes I wouldn't have to drop him. I would just think that he's home, and then by the time I check, somebody's come to collect him and he's not there, and I can, you know, go on my Lime. That's not the case here. Everything comes at a cost. Childcare comes at a cost. Everything. Like, there is nothing that you can just get and just think that that's what it is. No. In St. Lucia, where, as again, you probably cut on food because you have this plant in your back yard that has this fruit, and you have this person bringing this vegetable for you, and you have this. There is none of that if you don't have money. And that's why it's so easy for persons to go homeless, and you see people who come from millions of money just go homeless because of probably one bad deal or something. Because honestly, it is hard. Like, if you don't prepare yourself, like, financially, and you don't put things into place for yourself, it's very hard to be depressed and be down, because especially the taxes are super high on various things. So if you don't calculate these taxes into your, like, your pay and all of that, it's hard. It's very hard. So for the American dream, like I said, I would not change, like, my decision to be up here, because it has opened many doors for me. But it is not a dream that you just come here and everything just happens automatically. You have to work for whatever it is you do make happen up here. You have to work for it, you have to sacrifice for it, you have to put in the time, you have to put in the effort. It just does not come effortlessly. And that is what it is. So, yeah. And lastly, but certainly not least, advice for others moving to the US. So, honestly, I would just say to come in prepared. Come prepared, but ensure that you're not just rigid in your thought, because it's hard. It's already a hard adjustment coming from something that you know, that you're used to, and being in a totally different space, different people, different races, different cultures. It's already a hard transition. So come in with an open mind, a very open mind, and come with a goal. Come with a goal. Don't come just saying, okay, I'll be making more money and whatever. Yes, you will be making more money, but yes, you are going to be spending that money, because like I said, everything comes at a cost. There is rent, things that you are probably not even paying for in your home country, you're probably going to have to be paying for. So try to deduct all of these from your pay before, to make sure that you're able to be comfortable with whatever lifestyle you choose to live. And honestly, don't compare yourself to anybody, especially persons living here before you, persons who've had a head start. That is like, everything comparison is the thief of joy. Understand that everybody is on their own timeline, and this is like a general thing for me. It's not even about moving to the US or being up here. It's just a general thing to understand that everybody's on their own timeline, and you should not be comparing yourself to anybody, because everybody's path is different in life. Everybody's on their own path, everybody's seeking their own journey. So you should not be comparing yourself to anybody, because that is going to probably dampen your spirits, dampen your mood, make you try to do better, and then in the end stressing out yourself for what, right? Go at your own pace, do what you can do, invest your time, energy, efforts into your family, invest money into things that you think are going to bring back a good return. And don't just waste the opportunities that you've been given up here. There are, like I said, a ton of opportunities, and educate yourself. Continue to educate yourself. The sky's the limit. Especially the more you're educated, the higher you go, the higher you climb in rank. So whether it's a certificate course, whether it's anything at all that will kind of propel you to higher heights in your job and in your career field, do that. Don't sleep and wait for anything to be handed out to you, because you're not going to get handouts here. You are not going to get handouts here. You will be rewarded for your work, but you must work to get rewarded. And that's what it is. But yeah, and pretty much that's what it is for today, guys. Let me know any questions you have. Leave them down in the comments below, because I want to help you, but I cannot help you if I don't know what you're asking. And as much as I like the fact that persons are asking questions in the inbox, it's easier for me to like see the questions all in one place, because if this person is messaging me on Facebook, and this person is messaging me, what am I saying, y'all? I'm just all over my speech. So if this person is messaging on Facebook, and this person is messaging on Instagram, and this person is messaging on TikTok, it's hard for me to get all my remember, okay, this person messaged there, this was her name, let me try to remember what question she asked, as opposed to everybody commenting under the video. So I know what your questions are. I know what you want to know about, like the move, and what you're interested in learning about or knowing about. It's easier if they're all underneath here. So just comment here for at least so I could see your message and address it. And yeah, do not forget to follow me on all platforms, Achille Antoine, on Instagram and TikTok. And I think I'm on Facebook. I'm not sure. I might be. Facebook is not somewhere I really post, and it's not for content creation. It's just for browsing and laughing at posts and stuff. But I wouldn't really, focus on Facebook too much. But definitely for regular content, Instagram, TikTok. And I am trying to get onto that lemonade train. We shall see. But like, share, and do subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.